love, what's up? Welcome to Confidently Uncomfortable. I'm your host, Jago, health and lifestyle coach and not-so-regal confidence queen. Coming at you with the real, the raw, and of course, the uncomfortable. My mission is to show you that to be confident, it has absolutely nothing to do with being perfect or having it all together, and everything to do with you getting uncomfortable and pushing your limits. Thanks for joining me. Let's dive in. I just had to tell you, this guest episode is one of my favorites. If you have been struggling to, figure out how to follow your passions, what your next steps need to be in life, or you just want to have a good time, you need to listen to this episode with me and Miss Kay Hillman. She's my good friend, but not only that, she is a badass business coach. She has a social media marketing agency. She has a photography business. Oh, did I mention she's a mom? She has a podcast, and more than that, she is just such an amazing human. She does an amazing job at sharing her faith, being fully authentic to who she is, and that is why she just goes so well with the Confidently Uncomfortable crew. So I'm glad she could be a guest for us today. I know you're going to enjoy this episode, so let me know what you think. Feel free to share a screenshot whenever you finish it, and I'm looking forward to meeting Kay. I am so excited to introduce you to my girl, Kay Hillman. She is such a boss. She is amazing at everything she does. She's passionate with so many different things. We'll get into her business side of things, but also just who she is as a human, because her story is pretty incredible. I know so many people will resonate with what she has to say, what she has to share, and we'll have some nuggets for you to take into your own life. So I'm excited you're here today, Kay. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I don't know why I just got so nervous out of nowhere.
Okay, we're going to take a breath. No, this is the thing is, y'all, you don't know this, but we literally spend so much time on FaceTime together. It's insane. So this is a normal thing to be talking at 10 p.m. at night, to each other on FaceTime. Our husbands think we're weird because we'll literally mute each other and have co-working sessions. But I guess I should tell people we're friends. We didn't just randomly meet and start Zooming each other, but we know each other through a mastermind and have gotten really connected through that. But Kay's story has really resonated with me, and I was like, I need you on Confidently Uncomfortable. So I just want you to share just a little bit about you and your story, because my podcast is all about getting confidently uncomfortable, and it's something that I feel like you live it, girl. Like everything that you do, you really own who you are, and so I want people to get to know a little bit more about you. So tell us some things.
Yes. Okay. So my name is Kay Hillman. I am a 3-time CEO. So I run 3 different companies. And I'm just going to start with my story because it'll make everything make sense.
I love it. Let's do it.
So I started out as a pre-med biology student. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a doctor. And ever since I was 4 years old, it's like, she's going to be a doctor.
Yes. The cute doctor bag as a kid. Love it.
Oh my God. It was everyone in my family. And interestingly enough, my mother actually passed away when I was 4 years old. And so it's also a vision that she had for me. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably why I held on to this doctor dream so long, because obviously I'm trying to honor my mother and all that kind of stuff. And so, fast forward to college, and I was struggling because biology is hard. It's very
It's a
hard.
Weed out class. Yes.
Girl, it's a weed out class. Honestly, physics, what is the point? I
don't know. What is physics? What is gravity?
Who cares? But, I was in all those classes, and finally, I made it through. I graduated, and I applied to med school and I couldn't get in. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to take a gap year. I'm going to, do all this stuff. So I took a gap year, raised my GPA, took all the tests, MCAT, all that kind of stuff again. And I finally got into med school. So I go to med school, and I go out of the country to go to med school. And it was the craziest time of my life, because it was the first time that I really had to confront the fact that maybe this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I was over there, I call it my bathroom moment. I literally would wait for my roommate to go to class. And we had a class, it was only one class that we didn't share. And so I would run home so that I could go in the bathroom, turn off the lights, and just cry. And I would cry for an entire hour every day for 6 months. every single day. Like not a single day went by that I didn't cry. It was the hardest time of my life. School was hard. Like I felt isolated. I felt alone. And at that point, like my faith just got
Mm-hmm.
so much deeper because I was like, God, if this is really for me, like you got to come through for the win.
Yeah, you need to show me
Yes, I
right
was
now.
so homesick. I
Uh-huh.
was newly engaged like that.
Oh,
So we got engaged and
oh
then I
my
left.
gosh. Stop. I did not
Yes,
know that. Y'all, her husband's amazing, just for the record. It worked out. Don't
girl.
worry.
Right.
Spoiler
Spoiler
alert.
alert. No big deal. Yeah. It was a terrible
Oh,
time of my life, but it was also a time that I needed to get a little bit more clarity and realize that it's okay to go for what you truly want. And also to recognize that
mm-hmm.
sometimes we don't know what we want until we try. Right. So I'm grateful for that
Mm-hmm.
experience, even though it was like really hard and it was challenging. And there were just so many other things that like went on. I'm also grateful that I went through that because if I didn't even try, I wouldn't have known that like this wasn't for me.
I always
Yeah.
wonder. Yeah.
So there was that.
Oh,
And then yeah, it was crazy. It
wow.
was crazy. It was so crazy. Then I came home and I told my parents, I was
Mhm.
like, yeah, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not going back. And they were like, oh, we were waiting for you to say that. And I was like,
They knew.
bro, y'all could have saved me so much money.
Oh, I feel that for sure.
Right? Like med school is not cheap. I went out of the country. Like
No.
I'm just like, guys, like we could have saved so much money if y'all would have just told me, yeah, you don't
Yes.
have to do this.
Had a little meeting.
Right. So it was great. And it's and I realized
Mhm.
that that was a blessing too, and having the support from my family. Because I know a lot of my friends who went to school with me, they didn't have that same support. And so I know
Yeah.
quite a few people that just pushed through, even though maybe it wasn't
Yeah.
aligned with them, you know?
So with this, like I'm already wanting to talk more. I know there's more to your
Yeah.
story. So with saying like you needed, first of all, the bathroom moment, I feel like everyone has that. Like, and I think it's huge because it's such a turning point of like, you know that whatever you're in a moment in your life and you're like, I don't know like what's next, but I know this isn't it. Like you're just feeling that in your soul. And my question for you is like at that moment, like going back into that space, you're going to their bathroom and you're literally crying every day, miserable at where you're at. Did you have an idea of what you wanted to be doing, or did you just feel like it ain't this?
Yeah. It was literally, this ain't it. Like
Mm,
that's like I just had like a gut feeling that something is wrong. I feel like that's the first time that I met my intuition. Um,
that's powerful.
yeah, like I feel like so often, like I said, the dream was put in me so young.
Mm,
So I never heard my voice. I didn't know what I sounded like until
mm.
I got away from everyone, until I cut
Wow.
out all the noise, until there was nobody around to influence me and tell me this is what you're supposed to be doing. That's when I met myself the first time.
That's
Like in the
powerful.
bathroom, in the dark, there's nobody else but you. Like you
Mm-mm.
have to meet and face yourself. And I was scared. I was angry. I was
Mm.
frustrated. I was a lot of different emotions that obviously I processed through quite a bit of it in 6 months of crying.
Yeah. It was needed.
But but I think another thing is that because I had so much time, I was able to come home and firmly say, this is not for me.
Yeah.
I tried. I did what I could. There were like a lot of things that were happening in school that I just didn't agree with. It just didn't
Mm.
sit well with my spirit. And, why do people become a doctor? Because we want to help people. Like that's
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, that's your answer. And I just felt like I wasn't doing what I needed to do to help people the way
Mhm.
that I knew I was supposed to, the way like it just something just didn't feel right. It didn't feel aligned. And
Yeah.
so I wasn't clear on what I was doing next, but I knew I wasn't going to keep doing that. No,
Ah,
man.
I feel like there's there's so much strength there though, because a lot of times people see the other side, like they see you already being successful, a three-time CEO, like all that you're doing. But I really see the strength in the fact that you were willing to step away from something, not knowing what was on the other side of the door. And that's where I feel like a lot of people struggle is they think they have to know and have a clear vision of where they're going to next in order to let go of where they're at. And you are such a testament to this of just trusting like, hey, I feel this in my intuition. I feel God telling me like this is not it. I need to move to create space for what's next. I need to release what I'm doing. And So many girls I talk to, they're like, have these dreams, these visions that they want for their life, and they're struggling because they feel like, well, I don't know exactly what I need to do. I just know I'm miserable where I'm at right now. So what would you say to that person? So going back to yourself, you're in that room. I'm bringing you back to that bathroom again and again. So you're in that room, like, is there anything you would say to her in that 6-month span, just to kind of like either encourage her or just some advice to that previous self?
That's such a good question.
Take time.
Yeah. Like, I'm just like, as you were saying it, I was like, wow, because I haven't even dissected this bathroom moment as deeply as you're asking me
You
questions.
didn't know this was a therapy session, Kay?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm here for it. I'm here for 100%.
I just blindsided her, guys. I'm sorry.
I love it. I love it. No, but seriously, like, that's such a good question. And I feel like looking back, if I had somebody, or even if I could like coach myself through it, I would just say, like, feel your feelings. Because I feel like so often, I know this to be the truth. We don't know how we feel. We don't know who we are. We don't know our thoughts. We're not in tune with anything about us. And so any kind of change, any kind of deviation from a plan that we've made up previously, it's going to feel like an attack, but that's not what it is. Like, just because you're going through, or just because things aren't going the way that you thought it was going to go, that doesn't mean that your life is under attack, or that, you're a failure. Like, because I literally would be in the bathroom like, you're such a loser. Like, you're so dumb. Like, I would just like go through all this stuff. Like, why can't you figure this out? Like, I would just really go through all the things. And one thing I'm really grateful for is, after I've moved through all this, is recognizing my full range of emotions. And I know there are so many more emotions that I've experienced since then, but that was a really powerful time for me to start experiencing my true emotions, not what everybody else has to say, not what society says is the correct plan and the correct path that we're supposed to be on. And so for anybody that's like, man, I know I need to be doing something else, but like, I need to have a plan. I need to have everything in place. Girl, all you need is the next step. Like, all you need know that you need to take an action. After that, the plan will unfold itself. But if you don't even take a step, you won't know if you're on the right track or not.
That's
so you just
true.
have to do something.
Oh my gosh. I'm getting chills from this, Kay. I'm glad I forced you to dissect the bathroom situation. But no, I just think that so many women need to hear that. I mean, men and women, but most of my audience is women. And I think we're waiting for this powerful vision of what our dream is supposed to be, while staying stuck and feeling like we're miserable, and that we just have to stay miserable until suddenly we wake up and we have this beautiful vision and motivation to evolve into this amazing person. Whereas you just said you took a next step. You had some hard conversations with yourself and then with your family, and that was your small step forward. And another thing you said was, I think was really powerful. Oh gosh, you're so quotable, Kay. But you said like any deviation from the plan, it feels like an attack. And I think that's so true. I mean, I don't know if it's just from like trauma. I'm always on edge. It's like anytime something isn't exactly as we plan. I mean, I know my previous self-perfectionist, I'm always like, okay, well then this must not be it, or I must be failing. And when in reality, you talked about the isolation and the aloneness almost was like a level of growth with you. Would you agree?
110% agree. You know how you get unstuck? Like, if you're stuck in something, like, do you know how you get unstuck?
Tell me.
You have to move. You have to push through. You have to take an action. And in that moment, for me, we're gonna hang out in the bathroom. That's cool.
I love this. Let's go.
In that moment, for me, I realized that this was my first of many defining moments where, for once, Kay, you're an adult, you're a big girl, you get to make the decision for your life and the direction it goes. And I think so often we kind of run away from that, right? We always want there to be a perfect answer, a perfectly laid out plan. And sometimes it's not that we're stuck, it's just that we're experiencing fear. Like, we're really like face on with our fear. And now it's like, oh shoot, like, I'm the adult that has to make the decision. Like, what?
I have to show up. Like,
yes. Like, sometimes, like, I'm a whole mom, and sometimes I just look up like, oh, so you want me, like, I'm supposed to be responsible? Okay, got it.
I still struggle with that thought, and I'm not a mom yet. And I'm like, I can't imagine. Like,
yes, it's so crazy to think that, like, wow, we have to, like, in any capacity, you have to show up for yourself. You have to make the decision. And so a lot of times I like to replace, like, whenever I feel quote unquote stuck, I like to replace that with, well, okay, like, what are you scared of? Like, what fear are you running into right now that is causing you to not take an action, not take a step, right? And the step doesn't have to be huge, you know, like, it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm ending, you know, I'm creating world peace. Like,
no.
you know, it doesn't have to be anything intense. It could really be like, I'm committed today to doing one small thing that's out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, I think that's so true. Oh, I just know so many people that are listening to this and they're like, you know what? Kay is so right. Like, it's my fear getting in my way. I'm not stuck. I just need to start moving. And it doesn't have to necessarily be the quote unquote right movement, but I just think starting to take a step, it's going to help you figure out if it's the right one or if it's a misstep and we need to recalculate, and that's okay. And so I kind of want to go back. We're out of the bathroom now. So you're back home, you've had the conversation with your family, and you still at this point don't know exactly what you want to do. So what kind of, like, I want to hear a little bit more about, like, the challenges you were kind of going through to figure that out, how you stepped into your business and your coaching, just really the process of figuring out what you felt like was the right thing. Because I know you make a huge impact and you do help people. So you basically took that passion and you turned it into your own. I want to hear a little bit more about that once you got back from.
Yeah. So when I got back from med school, my first step in my mind, I was like, okay, I need to go back to school, obviously. Like, I was still in that mind of, like, you have to go back to school. So I went back to school. And at first, I used to think about this as a misstep, but now I realize, like, it was the best step. So I went back to school and I got a master's. And while I was there, I started teaching. It was the first time I was like actually the instructor for a class. And so I started teaching, of course, biology.
What was your master's?
Yeah, bioinformatics, biology.
Love it.
More biology.
You're such a cute nerd. Okay. So you're teaching.
I was teaching, yeah. And I fell in love with teaching. I fell in love with, like, being able to take a complex, subject and break it down in a way that people would just light up and be like, oh, I got it. Like, I know how to do this. So I knew, like, so through that, I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be a teacher. Like, so that was, like, the next logical step, right?
Love it.
And it was beautiful. Like, it was a great 2-year experience. And then I got married and I moved up here to Atlanta, and I was looking for a job as a teacher, and nobody would hire me. It was like I was a freaking pariah. Like, what in the world? You're going back 2 degrees and nobody wants to give me a job. So I was, like, going through all this, and I was like, God, you got to be kidding me. Like, you got to be kidding me. And I had that moment, and I know we all have it, where it's like, I did everything right. I went to school. I got the degree. I got married. You know, we moved in together. I moved up here to be with them. You know, I applied for a job. Like, God, this has got to be some kind of sick joke. Like,
yes.
You know? And we all say it, like, I did everything. Like, I did everything the quote unquote correct way. And it didn't come to pass. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this is so lame. Like, so that's a whole other spiral. I was like, so bent out of shape. I was like, wow, like, what kind of loser can't get a job? Like, we just always
tear ourselves down.
I just think back, I'm like, I was so mean to myself. I was just like, girl, you can't even get a job, whatever. So finally, I was like, you know what? Bump a job. I started working for Uber and Instacart, and I was like, girl, you're going to figure it out. Like, you're just going to
for you.
Rock it out. And in the midst of doing all that, I woke up one day and I was like, girl, you're a photographer.
Wait, stop. Wait, you literally woke up and were like, this is.
Yes. I was like, I don't even know what said, like, I don't even know what I saw. It might've been like YouTube videos or something.
I love this.
I woke up and I was like, girl, you're a photographer. And I remember, like, getting my wedding photos back and just, like, the whole experience of, like, my wedding photos. And I was like, man, I really love this. And I was like, why can't I be a wedding photographer?
I love it.
I bought a camera, girl. I just talk about stepping out on faith. Cause, like, I had no training, but one thing that I thought about when I made this decision is that, one, I always from young was very creative, but
yeah, you are.
Be a doctor. So nobody ever honed that side of me.
Yep.
So when I became a photographer, all of a sudden, it was really great. So I bought this camera and I started taking photos, and they were terrible. Like, they were so terrible. I look back at my friends, because my friends let me take all their pictures, and I'm just like, y'all, I'm so sorry, but you live and you learn. You have to practice somewhere. We
Listen,
all start out like everybody's first something is always terrible. Your first live, your first photo, like,
absolutely.
it's all terrible. You know, it's okay. Everybody. And you can scroll back to everybody and their first thing is always terrible. So after
I do that actually. I like legit like will scroll back and like stalk people. Okay, when were you like not good at this? Because it really helps
yes,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so helpful. It's so helpful to know that like you weren't the only one that couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody else
Exactly. I
woke up
love
and they
it.
were experts at it, and you were just the only one that couldn't do it.
Yeah. Bump that. I love it.
Yeah. So from there, I started an Instagram page and I just really
Hmm.
started like learning how to use Instagram to like build my business. And it was like, wow, this is making so much sense. So I started getting clients as my photos started getting better. I started getting like
Hmm.
these really good clients, like influencers and stuff. And now they're like,
Yeah.
how did you do that? Like, how did you do this? So I started teaching and I was like,
Yes.
it's coming around full circle. Like, so I was just like, yes, like I get to teach. Like I didn't even know that like coaching was a thing. So I wasn't coaching,
Yeah.
which is why I have 3 businesses because I started a social media management agency because I didn't realize there
Hmm.
was a such thing as coaches. So I started the social media agency because I ended up taking my photography clients on as social media clients and I started doing their
Yeah.
social media for them and all that kind of stuff. Even though like for me, I always empower my clients to do stuff themselves. So
Of
everybody
course.
knows how to do what I can do for them. It's just that maybe you
Which
don't
I
have
love.
time or maybe you just don't want to, you know?
Mhm.
So I started that business. And of course, like my audience just started growing a lot, a lot. And then I finally learned about coaching. I was lonely. I didn't have any friends moving up here to Atlanta. And so
Yeah.
I started a community. And from there, it just like after that, everything just kind of exploded. And I was like, oh, all right, well, I guess, I guess I'm a business owner.
How'd that happen?
Right, right.
Yeah, a successful business owner. Like you're crushing it and you're helping others do the same, which is so cool. I love everything that you're
Yeah.
doing. So you said basically you were like, "Oh, I'm teaching." And so when did you start to really see it as like, "Okay, I'm starting my coaching business. I can do all of these things. I can be multi-passionate and do all
Yeah.
3 of these businesses."
So I honestly feel like this is something that it just happened. And I
Mm,
don't like, I hate to even say it that way because like, of course, like you can see certain things that like just popped up in it and it worked. But like all of my businesses were started from a place of someone needs something and I can help you do it.
yep.
And remember, the whole reason why I want to be a doctor, most of us want to be a doctor anyway, is to help people. And
Yep.
so it just made sense for me. Like I started out taking photos. Why? Because I wanted brides to feel the same way I did. Like I was a budget bride. My photographer was amazing. And I was like, wow, there are not a lot of budget brides
Mm-mm.
that are actually giving out good work. Like
Mm.
she's a phenomenal photographer. So I was like, oh, I want to be like that too. So that was like my first desire to help someone. And then like, I started doing photos and I'm helping these ladies and they're asking me questions about like how to grow on social media. So that was another way for me to help them. Like, and then after that, I was just like, oh, I can help people by coaching them. Like it just
Yes.
like literally everything was just like sparked out of a deep desire to help people. And I know that sounds like sometimes it's like, oh wow, is that a big thing? And like for the person that's thinking like, oh, I don't have anything unique or there's nothing different about me or whatever, your desire to do something to create a transformation to help people is more than enough. Like don't let these
Oh.
coaches fool you into thinking that you got to be out here solving world hunger and all the time. Like, girl, no. It's not that. Like you can literally just have a deep desire to help individual people and that's fine.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
that's
that
so
that's what changed
powerful.
me.
And that's why you grew too, is like you stepped into it with the mindset and willingness to help other people and not like, oh, I'm going to do this so I can make as much money as fast as possible. And it was truly about relationships for you. And that was something I
Yeah.
really recognized in you from the start. Cause like when we were in this mastermind together, it was like, that's what we were seeking. It wasn't like, I want to try and get as successful as possible. It was like, I'm trying to connect with some people. And that's why I really connected with you, Kay. And like you inspired me. I was like, this girl is awesome. So yeah, I just seeing you do that I think is huge. And so we talked a little bit about like the advice you would give someone that was in that space of like taking that leap. Um, if what would you say would be like the next, because I feel like leaving med school is pretty scary, but what is there anything else that was like a scary thing that you did that was like you had to get confidently uncomfortable to show up for yourself and like in your along your journey that like I don't know, that kind of sticks out about.
Yeah. The like just right off the top of my head, the
Mm.
next scariest thing I did was decide I wasn't going to get a job.
Mm.
Um, it's another reason why I'm such a advocate for people not quitting their job until like they have certain things in place. But that was the second scariest thing I did, because I have never experienced like that steady paycheck, that steady income,
Yeah.
you know, like, I mean, I've had jobs before, but it was never like, girl, that wasn't even money. Like, I don't even know what that was. That was just me. That was just foolishness, what they were doing. Really, it was terrible. But like, I have never experienced like, oh, I have steady income. Like, I know I'm getting this paycheck. And so for me, I feel like that was the like next scariest thing, is to make the decision that, all right, Kay, like, you won't have any security. Um, and I want to encourage people who are like thinking like, dang, I'm ready to quit my job, whatever, whatever. I'm not saying don't quit your job, but what I am saying is just be prepared, because it's not easy on the other. Like, it doesn't get easier just because you go full time. And I know a lot of people, like, they portray themselves as like, oh, I quit my job and then I made 6 figures, or I quit my job and then I,
Those
and
coaches.
it's like, let's think first, you know, do you have a partner that can help support, you know what I'm saying? And like, they have income coming in, you know, like, do you have money saved? Like, there were so many things that I simply did not have, which is why I drove Uber and Instacart for so long. Like, I drove Uber and Instacart probably for about a year, because that was my quote unquote steady paycheck. And so if you decide to quit your job, don't feel the pride, like it's pride to say you're not going to drive Uber and Instacart. I tell people now, baby, let Kay come up on a hard time. Okay, let me have a slow month. Your girl getting right back in that car, and I'm going to go deliver some groceries. And I'm not too proud to say that. Like, and I might just freaking put it in my stories, let y'all know, hey y'all, I'm out here getting these groceries. Like, it is what it is. Like, there's no shame in having to do things in order to make ends meet and to pay your bills and stuff like that. And we can't be so, you know, angry or emotional or whatever about leaving our jobs that we just jump out and do this full-time entrepreneurship thing, because it's not always easier on the other side. And so I feel like for me, that was like the next biggest leap, because I didn't have a savings to fall back on. The only thing I had to fall back on was my husband, which that's not the best, like, you know, anything can happen, right? So that's not a smart backup plan, you know, at the time. But I mean, you know, we were young and dumb, so it's like, whatever. But
You would still do it again. I know you would.
I sure would.
Yeah, I know you would. And that's the mind of an entrepreneur. And so I think that's a huge thing too, is a lot of times people are pushing people to like, yeah, just quit your job and do everything. And I think the fact that you're recognizing, hey, I get that you guys, like, you might need to pay the bills, you might need to do this. And it doesn't necessarily mean like you need to go, like, that you holding back means that you don't believe in yourself. It just means that you're recognizing what you need to, you know, survive, to live. And
Yes.
Exactly. And I think that's something that sets you apart from a lot of people I know, which is awesome.
I tell people all the time that having your 9 to 5 does not mean you're not committed to your business. It has nothing to do with that. Like, it is not synonymous. Your business can be very successful with you working at part-time if you're doing, you know, the right activities, right? If you're focusing, when you are working on your business, when you're doing the right types of activities, when you're not just mindlessly scrolling on Instagram and stuff, you can make your business can still be successful. I know plenty of people who they run their business part-time. I know people who also love their full-time job, right?
Same.
You don't have to quit your job just because your business is, you know, or just because you have a business, right? If you love your 9 to 5, keep it and let this be your travel money, or just saving money because you want to save it for whatever reason. Like, it could just be that additional source of income. But I feel like we're in a culture right now where everybody's like, quit your job. If you don't quit your job, you're not serious. And it's like, whoa, yeah, like, people are still serious about their business, whether they quit their jobs or not. You know, we're trying to use some common sense here.
And that's the thing, is like, what I notice in the world is like, it's a world of extremes. It's like, we were going through the life of like checking the boxes and having the 401k and like getting married and having a house and doing all the things. And then on the other end of things, that people, it's like, okay, well, now you need to quit your job. You need to travel every single week. You need to do all these things. And it's like, okay, but like, really just figure out what you need. Like, figure out what your life looks like for you. And I think that's a huge thing. And oh man, you said something that really hit me, with just like, not getting caught up in your pride when you're trying to figure out what that balance is. Being okay to maybe you say you want to go all in with something and then you're like, okay, I got to get a part-time job. And I really think that like pride is what gets in the way of progress and in creating change. So the fact that you're recognizing that within yourself and helping other women do the same, I think is huge. So I just want to say you're awesome.
You're so sweet. You're so sweet. Yeah. Oh, you, I love that. Pride gets in the way of progress. That's powerful. You said that. That was a perfect summary.
Quote me.
I know.
We're both pretty quotable. No, I love this. No, so I think the last thing I want to know, just from you're in a place right now where you are thriving, you're doing amazing with your business. Is there any other advice you would give to someone who's trying to take a leap away from like their current job situation, just something where they feel stuck? So they feel stuck, they're trying to get out. They want to make a leap, but they don't know what's on the other side. Like, what's something that maybe someone told you that really resonates with you still, or that you found that was like a lesson that came to you? And you can take your time on this one. I'm just curious.
This is a good question. This is another good one. You're getting me with these good questions. I
don't like doing typical interviews. I don't like doing the ones like all the other basic bees.
I'm so done. I feel like the best piece of advice that I have ever heard, received, I don't know where I got this from or if I made it up, who knows? But every day is a new day. So today, it's maybe what you're doing is not perfect, right? Maybe today you are sitting in that moment and you're like, dang, I don't know, this is going to work out. Just take that step anyway, because tomorrow's a whole new day for you to figure it out, right? Yep. Tomorrow's a whole new day for you to just live in the moment. And if you need to course correct, you can course correct. If you need to, like you could do anything. Like tomorrow is so like, there's just infinite opportunities for you to do things. And once I realized that, it made me stop feeling bad about like, oh, I'm not sure about doing this, right? Because I'm like, well, if it doesn't work out, I'll just try something else tomorrow. Like, yes, and I know people say like the whole strategy of throwing spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks doesn't work, but like, it kind of works.
It worked for me.
Kind of work, like it really does, and I mean, I feel like a lot of the stuff that I believe and a lot of the stuff that I've done in my business is so counter what everybody says in the industry, right? Everybody in the industry is like, oh, you need to niche down. Everybody in the industry is like, you need to focus on one offer. You need to have a high ticket offer. Everybody will say all these things, but the truth of the matter is that you can try one thing today and tomorrow be like, you know what, this is dumb. I'm doing something else. Like every day is a new day. It's a new opportunity for you to adjust to, whatever you need to do, like whatever feels good to you. You could be doing something right now and it's like, oh, this is so cool. And then tomorrow, if it no longer serves you, just change. You don't have to make an announcement. You don't have to tell people, oh, I'm making a pivot. Oh, I'm raising my girl. It's not that
good
serious.
For you.
Just right. Do you want a cookie? So I feel like that's like the biggest thing. Like if you're feeling stuck, just do something. And there's always tomorrow to like fix it if you need to fix it, or to change your mind if you decide like tomorrow that this doesn't feel good anymore, And then the other thing that I want to say is that I find so often that we get so caught up in the noise of what everybody else is doing. And so if you're feeling stuck, take a second to disconnect and unplug from whatever you're consuming, whether it's social media or even conversations with people. Like one thing I had to do was like, again, look at my bathroom moment. I was in a whole different country and it allowed me to disconnect from all the noise that I was receiving so that I could hear myself. So sometimes we just need a second to like turn out all the noise and just focus on, okay, what do you want? And the only thing that I think you should do after you decide, like, what do you want, is run it by your top 5. So who are the top 5 people whose opinion actually matters? For me, it's God, myself, my husband, my son. Like, that's it. Like, I only have 4 people. Everybody
it's very
else,
exclusive.
Yeah, like it's everybody else, their opinion is so irrelevant. Yeah. And so it's like really just taking the time to like get away from all the other noise and like decide what you want or figure out what you need. Like, that'll be the next important thing.
That is powerful advice, Kay, because First of all, when it's just having that realization, like, hey, you need to slow down, you need to step away, you need to stop going to other people to confirm what you need to do with your life, and just like sit in and with your own thoughts and think, all right, God, like we're gonna have a little conversation, figure out what is it that I need to do. Like, am I supposed to keep going? Do I need to go here? Whatever. And it might not necessarily look like this sign or this like a slap in the face, but sometimes it does, and be open to either one. And I think the other thing that you hit on was with the each, what did you say? Every day is a new day, I think is really powerful. And also not seeing like a previous day's attempt at something as a failure, and really seeing it as a part of the journey, because you did that. I mean, you're such a great example of that. You're taking all the stuff that you learned and it somehow has weaved into your current life, right, or your current values, or things that, you know, I am not going to be dealing with that. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't give themselves enough credit, that like, I needed to learn that lesson. I needed to be in a different country, going to med school, sitting in a bathroom crying, right? Like,
right. You know, I needed to drive Uber. I needed to do
all of those things.
Nothing wrong with that, you know, like
not at all. It's powerful. So I'm just so thankful that you could share that part of your story today, and that you're continuing to inspire so many women. You inspire me every day. So I'm just so thankful to have you in my life. And I'm getting a little sappy, so I'm going to slow down and speed it up. We got rapid fire questions. So she has no idea about these. Basically, it's just like 5 questions. Give me your answers as quickly as possible. If you have to, you won't get docked points if you take a second to think, but try and whatever comes to your head first. Okay.
I'm super competitive. So I want to be like the fastest.
Okay. All right. I'll time you and I'll make sure you're the fastest guest I've ever had. Okay. Oh, yes. All right. Ready? First one. What is your favorite word?
Oh, it's not a good word. Pizza.
Pizza. Wait, pizza is your favorite word?
It's because my real favorite word is not a good word. Like,
wait, say it. Please say it. Please say it. Please say it. Please say it right now. Okay, you say it right now on this podcast.
It says D-I-C-K.
Yes. Okay, I'll say it. It's dick, people. Her favorite word is dick. Kay won't say it because she's a mama. I will say it every day. We love to say dick. Ah, I love it. She's blushing.
My favorite phrase is like, oh my gosh, he's such a dick.
I literally used that phrase today, Kay. See? I knew we were the same person. I just had to pull that out of you. Okay. Wow. Dang it. I almost made a dirty joke. Okay. So tacos or pizza?
Ooh, tacos.
Good. Same. Yet you were going to say your favorite word was pizza. I knew that was bull.
Because like I couldn't think of anything else. I was like, just say first thing.
It was dick. Okay. So tacos, same. Okay. Favorite dessert?
Ooh, apple pie.
Ooh, yes. Ice cream or no ice cream on it?
Ice cream.
Okay.
Definitely.
Good. Just making sure you're human. Favorite sound?
Sound.
No, it's weird.
Ocean waves.
Yes. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay. This one you can take a second to think. What is one thing you're working towards that's going to be a little uncomfortable for you? As you know, Confidently Uncomfortable is the name of my podcast. I'm all about people stepping into those uncomfortable situations, putting themselves out there in order to grow. So something right now in your life, business, it can be anything that you're really stepping out to, getting a little uncomfortable for you and you want to share.
Yeah, going to therapy.
Ooh, yes.
I go to therapy a lot, like in college. But now as a mom and married, and, you know, everybody is like uncovering their childhood traumas and all that kind of stuff. And obviously now I'm facing my own. And so that is like so uncomfortable, because even though I've been to therapy before, I realized that even then I kept it very surface level. And so now I'm really pushing myself and challenging myself to have like the deeper conversation, and not just come in and be like, oh, I'm fine. Yeah, you know, the baby, he just spit up on me, but it's okay. You know?
I'm fine.
I'm fine. Like,
that's such a good one. I'm a huge fan of therapy. You know it. We've talked about that. Yes. So I think that's a great one, and a big advice recommendation that people should definitely do that as well, and be open about it. I like that even with the doing it, like you said, you're showing up and you're getting uncomfortable and pushing yourself. And it really has to do with you doing it. No one's pushing you. You're the one stepping into it. So you're just such a powerhouse. You're so inspiring. I'm so glad that you could be here tonight, be on this podcast. You can't get rid of me, stuck with you. But guys, make sure you follow Kay. I'll put her handle and everything, but it's Miss Kay. Tell me your handle again.
Yes, it's Mrs. K. Hillman.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I'll add that in the show notes. I'll add her. You want to check her out, check out her website. She's super cute. Her son King is the cutest, so you need to go check him out. Look at all his cute. He pops up in the videos. He comes to all her coaching calls. So like definitely make sure you go give her a follow. And yeah, so make sure you listen to her, check her out on her social media. And I appreciate you being here today, Kay. Have a good one.
Jago, I love you so much. You are my whole heart. And just, I couldn't have asked for a better friendship. More people need to prioritize online friendships. True. It's not a weird thing,
It's not weird.
Man, this friendship has been so powerful. And I'm just so honored to be in this space with you. Like, you're bomb.com.
I love you. I was not expecting that. Thank you. Oh, you're the best. Love you, Kay.
Love you.
Thanks again for listening to Confidently Uncomfortable. I love being able to connect with you here and honestly don't want it to end. So head over to my Facebook group, Body Confident Blueprint, and be sure to follow me on Insta at JagoFitLife. Also, if you're ready to get real confidently uncomfortable, go leave this podcast a 5-star review and email me the review screenshot, support@jagofit360.com, for a chance to win a free 30-minute fitness audit and goal setting session. I appreciate your support. See you next time.